Hello, welcome back to the Villa View podcast. You're listening or watching me and Tom Julian. Probably should have said Tom Julian and I, so I've got that in the wrong order. That's a good start. Bad English. Tom, how are you?
I'm not too bad. Maybe I'm going to take a review of you this time round.
Not today. I'm not feeling good today.
Not feeling good?
No, a bit of headache. It's been following me around all day, like a bad smell. But I'll battle through.
You had a tough one. It's midweek, isn't it? Hump day.
It is hump day. It is hump day for us. This will be Thursday by the time the podcast goes out. But anyway, hope everyone is well. We have got some nitty-gritty stuff that we need to go through at the start of the podcast at the request of editor and producer extraordinaire Daniel Rolinson, aka Rollo95. He's asked for us to comment on the fact that people were saying to get rid of the border in episode 2. So I think we'll be flitting between the two through the podcast. Is that correct?
Yeah, so there's going to be a comments section on the YouTube version. There's going to be a comment, obviously, as normal, and Dan's going to make a comment, so you can like the with border or without border, whichever your preference is. So, yeah, I think they'll be flitting between the two today, and you can pick and choose as you like, and then we'll go from there. Whoever wins.
See what the vote is. What was the other stuff we've got to go through? This is really boring for the people who are just listening because the video thing makes no difference to them.
This one is for the audio subscribers, particularly iTunes subscribers. We've had some really great comments on iTunes, on YouTube so far, but what we need is iTunes reviews just to help us boost the podcast. It makes it more searchable, that kind of thing. So if you do like the podcast, that's great. Please review us on iTunes or SoundCloud if you're listening via that medium. Yeah. But yeah, it'd be really good if you can review us. And if you don't like us, hey, review us anyway. Yeah, let us know what you'd prefer to hear. And as always, send in your questions and comments, and we'd love to get to them.
To be honest, I'd prefer that people send in 5-star reviews, if I'm being honest. One thing I've noticed on iTunes is if you type in Villa, we're one of the top things that come up. But if you type in Aston Villa, we're nowhere.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's a little quirk.
Okay, well, maybe include Aston Villa in your comments, and maybe that'll help. I'm not sure. Yeah.
Just do what you can for us, please.
Yeah, we appreciate it. So let's get to the Aston Villa podcast, shall we?
Yeah.
Shall we talk about some football?
Well, let's start with the fact that last week I started by giving you a review of your performance. I've not done a review this time. What I've decided to do is to leave it open to the people who watch and subscribe and listen. I want you to say what you thought of Tom Julian's performance this week. Last week was obviously a bit of a stinker for him because he had the big famous Marlon Harewood mistake, saying that he used to play for Reading. That was disastrous.
Yeah.
Lack of knowledge, lack of research, lack of nous. Maybe all three of those things could be thrown at you. I've noticed Marlon Harewood's actually been liking a few tweets. He even liked a tweet where someone called him Goomba from the Mario Brothers.
Wow. So that's not great, is it?
Good sense of humour from Big Marlon, my cult hero. But yeah, he's been getting involved on Twitter, so that's nice to see. So yeah, obviously I gave Tom a 5 out of 10. Episode 1, and probably would say it was a similar score for episode 2. So on this episode, if you can give him a rank, like a mark of how you think he's done, that'd be great. Don't say anything about me because, to be honest, I don't want to hear it.
Wow, okay. It feels like, I think that's a little bit harsh. I mean, the Marlon Harewood, yes, it did follow me around like a bad smell, but there was some, I think there were some good points that I made. I can't remember any of them off the top of my head, but let's go for a 6 out of 10, I reckon. I'm evaluating myself, which is still pretty harsh if you're evaluating yourself.
Well, it's not. It's just over halfway.
Listen,
I don't think you're pulling up any trees, let's put it that way.
At some point, I'm going to get organised. I'm going to start reviewing you,
okay,
and then we'll really see. There have been a couple of style points on just how you kind of compose yourself, especially when you're at work today. But I'm sure we'll get to that a little bit later.
Let's start with it.
Yeah, you want to go to it?
It's a good chance then to plug the video that's literally, at the time of filming, come out about half an hour ago. A video where Matt and I went back over our pre-season predictions that we made just before last season started. I think I ended up with a C+ and Matt with a D. I think I came off slightly better than Matt, although I did make some really bad shouts, as did he.
See, again, I have issue with this. I think you're just louder than Matt is. So you're very vocal when you get something right. But actually, he got more championship top 6 finishes than you. I think he got more Premier League finishes than you. The only ones that you got right were the ones that he also got right.
Yeah, because he copies me
a
lot of the time.
Except for the ones that he got right and you didn't.
Yeah, but you're saying that. But if you go, I don't want to spoil the video for the people that haven't watched it because I'm sure people are dying to tune in and watch it, but I got the top two of the Championship right.
What I will say is that they both got an awful lot wrong, and there's some terrible shouts in there. I will also say that it's very hard to do predictions.
It's really hard.
A year in advance. I'm sure we'll all be putting them to the test again this year.
Well, I might even make you do some this year as part of the podcast, and then we can sit here with Mr. Smarmy and see how good you are.
Not Smarmy. I'm sticking up for Matt because you are again very loud and brash. I think would be the right word. And and you're putting him down.
Matt's very rash.
Yeah,
I'm brash. Matt's rash.
It works. My favourite comment from the video was from Jon Snow, Game of Thrones fame.
Okay.
Matt puts Dan's wardrobe to shame up the Villa.
You know nothing, Jon Snow. I don't even watch Game of Thrones, but I know that's a phrase, isn't it?
You know
nothing, Jon Snow. So I've done well there.
Has to be more northern than that.
Yeah, I've no good accents except for Brummie. I think what I was wearing, it's on point. The ripped shirts are very en vogue.
Do you want to stand up now?
No, I'm not standing up.
He's got more ripped.
I've got ripped jeans on now.
It's not very professional, is it?
I'd argue that Matt's playing it a bit safe with his dress code for someone of his young age, and I think maybe I'm taking a few more risks as someone who's a bit older.
I was going to say, do you think that you're dressing too young? I mean, you're over 30 now.
The only thing I can think of is that it's the kind of thing I can imagine Cristiano Ronaldo would wear, and he's older than me. But he also looks a lot better than me.
Yes,
so it's difficult.
That's
fair. We congratulate Real Madrid for their Champions League win, just on a football.
Yeah, I'm sure Real Madrid want to hear from us. So well done. I tell you what, if we will talk about the Champions League for just a brief second.
Yeah.
I thought it was great, but then I left the pub feeling really disappointed in the end with the Ramos. The sending off. It just left a really bad taste in my mouth. I mean, Real Madrid were going to win it. Juventus weren't having any chances and they were beaten. That just didn't need to happen for me.
The thing is, if he's on your team doing that kind of thing, you probably love him. And if it was a close game and he's trying to do that to make sure his team wins, see them over the line. But as you say, it was comfortable. The game was won, and there's just no need for it. And the guy had only been on the pitch about 7 minutes, and he got himself sent off.
A real congratulations to Cristiano Ronaldo, who
he's a beast.
He's an absolute phenomenon.
Yeah.
And again, one little thing that sticks in my craw a little bit when they win. I mean, he's won 4 now.
He's won a few.
So go and congratulate or commiserate with the other team. Congratulate your teammates. Just don't dive on the floor. He must be used to that by now. He knows what winning feels like. He's one of the senior members of that team.
That's why he's a winner. Because of things like that, he's got a single-minded mentality.
I don't believe that. I think there's.
I see what you're saying about the team thing.
Yeah,
but he's the main reason why they've won the Champions League because he's pulled them through. He's scored a hat-trick 2 games running.
Yeah.
2 rounds running. He's to the final. He's got a double in the final. He's just a machine.
Listen, I'm not questioning his ability. If I was, then I'd be thrown off the podcast straight away.
Are you Ronaldo or Messi?
I'm a Ronaldo.
Ronaldo, me too. Let us know in the comments whether you're Ronaldo or Messi, just as a little aside.
And which one we should sign. I read that in somewhere that we were linked with Messi.
I don't think either of them would get past Codger.
No, do you not think?
In all honesty, no.
What about 3 up front?
Well, maybe if we played 3 up front, they might sneak it. Let's move on to Villa.
Let's get back to your predictions. Don't give too much away, but can you give us one prediction that you were particularly proud of?
Oh, well.
Look at him, the cat that got the cream.
I predicted that Jonathan Codger would be Villa's top scorer, and I, for some reason, said that he would score 18 goals, so I was 1 off with my prediction of goals. I mean, that's
very good.
That's not just a prediction, that's precise, because I wasn't asked to give how many goals I thought they'd score, but I took it upon myself to put my neck on the line, as I always do, and I've come up trumps. To be fair, that's probably the one I'm most proud of.
Dan Bardell, in his fashion and his predictions, puts his head on the line.
I don't mess around.
No, you really don't.
Head's always on the chopping block.
I will say, I have a little bit of a contention with you, as I always do, with the predictions, because again, this week you said that you were kind of forced to put Villa into your top 6. Now, we've spoken on this podcast, I think we can go back last week and the week before, where you kind of flip-flop a little bit, Dan. You kind of, sometimes you're saying, oh yeah, I thought Villa were going to do really well last season. Sometimes you go, oh, I didn't want to put them in the top 6. Come on, put it straight.
I would never said Villa were going to do well last season.
I think we can go back to week 1.
You're welcome to look back. I do not think I've ever said that last season I thought Villa were going to do well. I said I thought it'd be tough. I did say at the start of the season I thought we'd make top 6, or at least be challenging for the top 6, and we should have been. To be fair, I don't care what you say. We should have been travelling. We should have been challenging for top 6. So, but I reluctantly put them in. the thing is, it was very, very early days for me on the Villa View. Then I'd only just joined, so if I'm coming on the Villa View and then saying I don't think Villa are going to get top 6, then I'm not going to really endear myself to people.
No, I think that's fair. No, I think you've got to be positive. I mean, this time last year I wasn't positive at all, as we know, but yeah, like you say, you were new and you had to have a little bit of optimism. You did also say that Brighton were going to go up automatically and through the playoffs.
Yeah, that was I don't think I said that.
That didn't make
There's no proof of that. I'm sure if there was proof, Dan Rolinson would have put that in the video at that point, and he didn't. So I'm saying I didn't say that.
Please watch the Villa View. What's it called? Player predictions? Season predictions.
A review of our predictions, basically. I can't remember the exact wording.
Something like that. The URL, you'll find it. Look on the Villa View.
It's on the Villa View.
And make sure you subscribe to that as well, because that's some really good content. And there's been some other content, hasn't there?
Yeah, we travelled down to Villa Park yesterday. I think we knocked out 4 videos. So obviously the predictions one that's already up. Me and Matt chose 2 players each to go over who we'd sign if we were Aston Villa manager. I tried to knock Matt down a bit, to be honest, as always. If you go back, and I made a real like out there shout. To be fair, I'm not going to spoil it, but I think it's a decent shout. I can't remember what else we did. We looked at pre-season, where Villa are going, what our expectations are of pre-season. And then we did one more thing as well, which I cannot remember for the life of me.
Well, it's all going to come up in future weeks, isn't it? And before you know it, we are going to be into pre-season.
Yeah, July, first week of July.
And it's all going to kick off again. Yeah. I'm really excited. I must say, having just even doing this podcast once a week just makes me like itch to get back to football already.
It needs to come back. I mean, I've said previously things like that.
Yeah.
In different ways, but he does need to come back. But I'm looking forward to England under 21s, because Grealish is obviously in the squad and I expect him to play a role. He'll probably actually be on the bench again.
I think so, yeah.
Probably being used as an impact player for England. But I'm looking forward to seeing him.
You'd think that that's fair, though, isn't it? I like considering his. I mean, this time last year, Grealish was the hot topic, wasn't he? It was whether he's going to sign for Ireland or England.
Was that the season before?
I thought that was last year.
Nah, I think it was. I can't remember. You took a year off. You're right.
We went down, and then
you might be right.
I think
I'll have to research that.
I think I am right for once. And he was hot property. This year, it's not quite happened for him. So I kind of feel like the bench is the right place for him. He shouldn't be out of the squad, but I don't think he's commanded a starting position just yet.
For me, he works better starting a game than he does coming off the bench. Although saying that, his best performance last season was arguably when he came on against Brighton away from home, where he did turn the game and we should have won, really. I just think he's not really utilised properly by Villa in the main, and he's someone I'll always defend currently until he gives me a reason not to. But I just think we misuse him and we mistreat him. Like, I think Jack Grealish isn't necessarily a problem for Aston Villa. I think Aston Villa is actually a problem for Jack Grealish. He could have got a move 12 months ago if he'd have wanted one. I don't care how low people think his stock's fallen. A Premier League team would have taken a punt on Grealish. And I've said before, if you put him in a team like Southampton, who nurture youth the right way, play football arguably the right way, he'll flourish. But he's playing for Villa, a disjointed side that's been a mess ever since he came into the first team, except for that spell when he first came in and Sherwood got us playing some nice stuff and he had good players around him that he linked up well with. You don't have, I think it was his third or fourth ever start for Villa, the famous game at Wembley, Liverpool in the FA Cup semi-final, where he absolutely ran it.
That was unbelievable.
You don't run a game like that at that age, having not had only ever played 4 or 5 Premier League starts, unless you're a good player. It's against a team like Liverpool, it's at Wembley, so he obviously can thrive under the pressure. I think his confidence has arguably took a hit over the last 18 months. He very rarely plays in his strongest position. And I just think there's a player there that should be ripping up the Championship. But for whatever reason, it hasn't happened. And I hope we utilise him better next season, because otherwise it's just going to be a wasted talent. And then, like other players, as it's been like with Mark Brighton, Gary Cahill. I can't think of anyone else off the top of my head.
Listen, I totally agree with everything you're saying. So I've got 2 questions for you, really. The first one, will he ever thrive under Bruce? And the second one, should we be building a team around somebody like Grealish, a young player who could be at Villa for a long time to come, instead of just kind of fitting him in wherever we think it might work?
Well, he said himself that he wants to stay at Villa for his whole career.
And lots of players have said lots of things.
I'd be very surprised if he did. I see the sentiment behind it, because he is a proper Villa fan. I know for fact how much he loves Aston Villa. I know this for absolute fact. People question it, but I don't know why. The stuff he does off the pitch goes a long way to prove that
Yeah.
as well. He's a nice kid, a nice guy. He hasn't been I don't think he was ruthless enough when he did play last season. He's arguably capable of more, but we've sat here and spoke about Villa's style of football, as have other people have questioned it. That style of football isn't going to be beneficial to Jack Grealish, because by the time he's stuck out on the wing half the time when he plays, which isn't his position. He's a number 10. You play him when we played him number 10, but behind Benteke with Delphin Cleverley around him. He thrived, and he didn't just thrive because those were good players. He thrived because he's a good player. And obviously players playing with better players brings the best out of them. Villa's football's been rubbish in the main. And the Bruce thing's interesting because Bruce is going to have to change his style anyway. He's going to have to, because that style won't get us top 6, in my opinion. And having a whole summer to work on a style of football, we should be coming out with something that's more productive than what we saw at the end of last season. So for me, if he wants to play nicer football, there's a place for Grealish in the starting 11 because he's a lovely, lovely footballer.
Yeah, so do you build it around him? That's what I'm saying.
I think you necessarily build it around him. There's some games where you don't necessarily, you wouldn't play him. You want to be a bit firmer, play a 4-3-3. I get that, but he should have been playing a whole lot more than he was last season, for me. And someone like Hogan is going to thrive off having someone like Jack behind him rather than Villa sitting back, punting long balls up to him. It's not his game.
What an excellent segue that was, Dan. You mentioned Hogan. Let's talk about the Villa Views forwards recap.
Yeah.
You went into every forward from Ayew to Agbonlahor, talking about all their different contributions. I thought both of you were fairly bang on the money. Hogan is one of these players that we haven't seen the best of yet. I think most people would agree that. Do you think that that's going to come next year, or do you think he's one of these players that injury just gets the better of him?
I'm worried about his injuries.
Yeah.
Because he struggled with the injuries at Brentford, and he struggled throughout his career, and even just being at Villa in this short time, he's picked up a couple of fairly lengthy injuries that have kept him out. He'll obviously start the season because we spent a lot of money on him, and I think possibly there's a place. I'm contradicting myself with what I just said about Grealish, but I can see Hogan and McCormack linking up. I think McCormack's going to get another chance. Hogan's a good player at this level. He scored goals for Brentford, but Brentford play football in a nice manner. They play nice football, and that's why he scored goals there. For Villa, I remember him missing one chance. I think it was against Reading at home that he should have tucked away. But other than that, I don't recall him missing too many chances. He just wasn't getting any service, and he was actually making clever runs. I was studying him a lot. I was watching him very closely, and his off-the-ball movement is very good. There just was no one on the pitch who could seem to find him because the midfield was up past the half. Very rarely, got past the halfway line to make an incisive pass. And then the wingers were also backing up the fullback, so he very rarely got the correct service. I think he'll come good because, as I say, we're going to have to change the way we play, and if we don't change the way we play, I think Bruce is going to be in trouble because we're not going to be in and around the top 6. You look at the teams that have gone up: Huddersfield, Brighton, Newcastle. They all play nice football. I don't necessarily agree with the fact that Championship, you've got to win ugly. That's how you get up. For a run of games when we were losing and then we suddenly went on a winning run, the winning ugly worked, but long term that won't work.
Yeah, I think Brighton and Huddersfield have shown that you don't have to win ugly to necessarily.
Huddersfield play some lovely stuff.
You have to win the close games. I think that's where that quote maybe derives from. You have to be able to shut teams out, which we couldn't do at the start of the season. We could do, but then we couldn't add the goals in the middle. So. Yeah, I think there's parts of that, but I think you're right. I think if Hogan can be fit, then he could be a real nice addition. If you haven't watched the video, it's actually my favourite of the squad recap so far. I really liked
slim pickings.
I really liked what you said, Dan, about Gabby Agbonlahor. About he was really frozen out kind of at the start of the season, and
to be honest, some would say that was fair, and I'd be inclined to agree.
Well, so I would say that. I don't think this is an excuse, but I think that could obviously be the reason that he became kind of unmotivated and ill-disciplined, and obviously he had those
But he was ill-disciplined before that happened.
But wasn't it all kind of part of the same story? He wasn't playing as much.
He was a disgrace in the Premier League that last season. In the Premier League, he was an absolute disgrace.
I don't think he's a Premier League player.
Not necessarily anymore, but he has been.
Well, certainly has.
He's had some good moments in the Premier League. More good moments than most players would get in a lifetime.
Yeah, sure.
I'd say.
He's had a nice career. I think. I mean, he's only 30.
I cannot believe Gabby Agbonlahor is younger
That's
than
crazy,
that.
isn't
That's terrible. I also noticed the other day that Jedinak's about the same age as me, which seems unbelievable because I see Jedinak as being like a 50-year-old man, but
and
in fact, he's only a bit older than me.
He looks younger than you, and
I don't think he looks younger than me. It's very scary.
Let's get back onto Agbonlahor for a second. I think what you said was that if he's properly motivated, then he can be a good, reliable player in this league. And I think that's true.
Possibly.
You were kind of creepily talking quite a lot about his Instagram. You got quite animated at that point.
No, it looks like he's putting in the work.
Yeah,
I was complimenting him on the fact that he's putting in the work.
Listen, it's not my position to say, but if he does put in the work, I think he's a real good addition to this squad.
Well, one thing I did learn from that video is the fact I don't think we need to be buying a striker in the summer because we're pretty well stocked, and I'd like to see Keenan Davis and Hepburn Murphy given a bit of chance. Gabby's a funny one because Matt has very strong opinions on him, and a lot of Villa fans do, and I'm not knocking those opinions. To me, he was an absolute disgrace in the last season in the Premier League, and I'll never forgive him for that one season. But in the main, he's given me a lot.
You'll never forgive him
for that one season. He was a disgrace. But he said
you can't never forgive someone for 1 year.
I cannot forgive that season from him.
Right.
He said himself he was a disgrace.
That still doesn't make any sense.
In my head, he does a little bit. He himself said he was a disgrace and that he deserved to have the captaincy taken off him. And he did. But for the most part, he has given me a lot of good memories as a Villa fan. So I'll never hate him. I'll never ever hate him. I'd love him to come back and fire us to promotion next season. I don't think it's going to happen. And he'll have to do that to get a new contract because he's on big money and he's only got a year left. But from the Bruce point of view, Bruce brought him back in from the cold. Man managed him to perfection, really. He did get something out of him, whatever you say, whether you're a fan of Gabby or not, he got something out of him. And he knew at some point he was going to need Gabby to provide something. And it may have only been one game, but it was an important game. And he got that goal out of Gabby against Birmingham, and that was probably the highlight of the season.
Yeah, absolutely.
In the end, that's good man management, because we're not going to shift him. No one's going to come and take him off us.
No.
So you may as well try and use him at some point.
Absolutely.
You stuck with him.
I think he's definitely one of these players that needs an arm around the shoulder. He needs to feel the love. And you, like you say, with Bruce needs to manage his expectations. Whether you can put your arm around the shoulder to Agbonlahor and say, look, you're going to be a real crucial part for me here, but you're going to come off the bench until you prove that you're better than the number of good strikers that we have here. Yeah. But I think that Bruce can get the best of Gabby off the bench. I think that's possibly where his role should be.
Against Birmingham, isn't he? He came off the bench and he revitalised us. That game was turning into a boring 0-0. Arguably, it was swinging in Birmingham's favour. They definitely had the best of the first half in that game. I've got two issues with the Gabby thing. One is that I don't think he can stay fit. Injuries are a problem. He always picks up niggles. He'll play 2 or 3 games. He'll then miss a month. So injuries are a problem for him. My other gripe is that having him there on a bench, it does hold back Hepburn Murphy and Davis a little bit. Davis I'd be looking to send out on loan, to be honest, because I think he could do with a season in the league below would do him good. But I was very impressed with him against Brighton. His hold-up play was very, very good for someone of such a young age with limited games. He actually came from non-league not that long ago, that's very pleasing to see. And he's obviously someone that you can mould and teach. So Gabby's taken up a place on the bench, arguably, that could go to one of them. But if he can come on and make an impact, then no issue.
Seems fair. I would, again, urge you to watch the video because, as I say, it was one of my favourites. And like Dan says, there's lots of good strikers to choose from. So
there is.
Need to get the lowdown on them. Should we do some comments? Should we do some fan comments?
Let's dive in.
Thank you again for all your comments. We'd love to hear from them, don't we, mostly?
Yeah.
Especially the ones that criticise Dan's fashion sense.
I'm not mad on those ones, if I'm honest.
Let's start with Carl Palmer, _Palmer.
Okay.
Have I beaten you to it? Sorry.
But no, you go with yours.
All right. If you could pick a sponsor, who would it be? Not Acorns, as that's too safe a choice. So I've gone for my favourite sponsor from back in the day, and also a couple of ideal ones as well. So do you want to go first, or shall I?
You go first, because I'm looking at what you've wrote down there and it looks bizarre, quite frankly.
All right. This actually also ties in with Ian F's I Am Freest tweet as well, who says your favourite thoughts on the new kit and favourite kit of all time.
We don't know that's the new kit.
No, we don't. That's fair to say. I've seen a couple of pictures done. I quite like it.
You have to see the material, feel the material to know, and see it with the sponsor on to know whether it's a good kit.
I originally thought, there's no sponsor. That looks class. But that's not the same.
There is a sponsor.
Yeah. Okay. Secret little information there that you're not going to...
Not really, but I know there is a sponsor.
All right, fine.
I'm pretty sure it's common knowledge. There will be a sponsor. We're not going to not have a sponsor.
Oh, yeah, I thought you were
I don't know who he is.
but you knew who
I think I know who he is, but I don't know for fact.
All right.
I've read stuff into the conversations. And
You're going to tell us?
Nope.
Oh, okay, all right, good. So my favourite Villa kit was probably the first Villa kit I ever had. It was definitely one of them, the 1997 Aston computer. I think that's a memory kit.
I take offence at the way you're pronouncing it. Isn't it AST computers?
Oh, I was called it Aston
I think
computer.
it may be AST computers.
Are they still
Let us
in
know in
existence?
the comments. I don't think so. Let us know in the comments if it is AST or if it is AST. Because I always said AST growing up.
Well, yeah, you're probably more right than me.
Well, yeah, I guess I was in the area, so.
Yeah.
But I imagine they're probably dead now. And let us know if they're still going, because I've not heard.
I quite like
I've not
that.
seen them doing much business, to be honest.
The away kit, the 1999 all-white LDV Vans away kit. I really like that because when I was a kid, I wasn't allowed white kits because my mum was like, it's a waste of time. Like, how you're just going to wreck it and then that'll be done. So that was kind of one that I kind of dreamt that I would have.
You weren't allowed to have a kit because it was white.
If I could buy it myself, but 1999 I was 9,
Wow,
so I couldn't afford it.
Dictatorship going on in the Julian household.
We had
as a child.
I had the claret kits, but not full white kit. No.
Wow, that's interesting to hear. Banned from having a white kit. Which ones do I like? I actually liked last season's kits. I've got both of them.
Yeah.
I was fond of the Under Armour stuff, and I've heard that the Under Armour gear this season is even better than last.
Under Armour's great.
It's a
actually.
bit pricey though. That's my only.
Yeah.
I spent a lot of money
Did you?
last season. Yeah.
I got my kit from playing at Villa Park, so that worked.
Well, I
out
got
quite
that
well.
one for free, obviously, but then I spent money on the away kit at the start of the season. I got the jacket. It's very pricey.
The jacket looks great though.
The jacket is good, and I'll still wear that next season.
I think
like
I might buy one of those.
Okay. I liked the.
Not so we match or anything.
No.
but
I recently, I don't know whether people saw on Twitter, I recently bought the old Muller kit with
Oh, yeah.
5 McGrath on the back of a genuine article.
Oh, really?
I recently bought that.
Nice.
Set me back a little bit of money.
Yeah.
But that's a nice kit.
Yeah.
I liked it. I think it just reminds me of my childhood. I like the stripe kit. My favourite kit's the 99-2000 one that we played in. We lost at the FA Cup final.
Oh yeah.
LDV Vans again
Yeah.
under John Gregory. I liked the stripe kits. And I know they're not traditional. You won't want one every year. Maybe just for a change.
Well, I was doing a bit of research on this, and you know, you have to go back a bit, but between January and April 1884, we had 4 different kits.
Really?
That's mad, isn't it? Blue hoops, 2-tone green, black, and then this weird red splodgy kit.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Didn't you research there?
So there you go.
I was going to wonder then whether you were going to say that we had a white kit and then maybe like people's mums got fed up of washing them, so then we had to.
Well, the one with
change
red
to a different
splodges
one.
was
Yeah.
white, so
Yeah.
maybe that's why they had splodges, because it covered out. I don't know. Carl also asked about ideal sponsors. I did some research again into sponsors.
Yeah.
There was a bit of a phase in the 90s where bands would sponsor their favourite kit.
Bands.
So Wet 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 sponsored Clyde Bank in 1993.
Really?
The Super Furry Animals have also sponsored Cardiff. And Fatboy Slim sponsored
I remember that. I do remember
Brighton.
that. I do remember that. So when I was looking at your notes and you wrote there ideal sponsor, so I thought your ideal sponsor was Wet 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 sponsoring Villa, which I thought was a bit strange.
Would you have who would be a Birmingham, a Brummie band that would sponsor Villa?
Ozzy Osbourne.
Can you
I
imagine?
can't remember the band that he used to be in. The
It
name
just-
has completely escaped me.
Yeah, me too. But it'll be a picture of like him just biting off the head of a pigeon or whatever it was.
Yeah, I suppose Ozzy Osbourne. Is he a Villa fan, Ozzy Osbourne? Was he a Blue Nose? I think he maybe he's Villa. The other guy that was in the band's a Villa fan. I just can't remember what the band's called, and it's really annoying me.
No,
I'm sinking under the pressure here.
find it out. Work it out.
I've got songs as well.
An ideal sponsor. I kind of thought maybe somebody I really like it when players or ex-players have a trade or they do something. So, for example, Ian Taylor's headphones.
Yeah.
That'd be
yeah.
IT7. That'd be a pretty cool one.
I'll give IT7 a little plug. I just purchased a pair
Good.
of those headphones. Yeah, they're doing the job. Obviously Bluetooth as well, which I like, so I don't have any cables, yeah.
I mean, if the Villa View is looking for a sponsor, so
Yeah, we are. We could
you
do
know,
with a
IT7, we're doing our bit here.
Ladbrokes has Ladbrokes sponsor's over. It's finished. Don't know what's going on next season. Discussions haven't taken place.
So AST
that's
computer,
Yeah,
AST,
get them back.
You know, bring them back.
Muller Rice.
Yeah.
I like Muller. I'd have Muller again.
Are you going to
Just
look up
again,
this Ozzy Osbourne thing?
Well, I did, and then Ozzy Osbourne came up, and not. Band.
So Ian Taylor headphones. Marlon Harewood actually runs a professional driving service.
AC13.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, I know that name, but not the band Ozzy Osbourne was in. Black Sabbath.
Black
Jeez.
Sabbath. Right,
Pathetic.
there you go. That was embarrassing.
Pathetic.
Your review's going down on this one.
You didn't know it either.
No, that's true. So I still wouldn't have got it to this moment. So yeah, I'd probably go for an ex-villain and their new business.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah?
Okay, I'll go for Muller. Muller Rice.
What, your ideal sponsor would be your favourite sponsor as well?
Yeah.
All right, good.
Bit of nostalgia.
Thanks for doing the work. I've got another question here. I don't know who it's from.
Can I do some questions? I thought we got them in the order that we were doing them.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay.
Have I thrown you?
Is that Joshua, I don't know if it's Long or Leong.
This is why you shouldn't have done it.
He said, if you could only sign 3 players next year, what positions would you fill and who would you want to purchase? Also, do you have a dark horse player for next season? I'm going to ignore the first part of the question because it's in an upcoming video. You can do yours. 3 positions or 3 players that you'd sign.
I would like a new goalkeeper. I'd like a firm choice goalkeeper. Yeah. I'd like a right back because
no, we don't need a right back. We've got 4,000 right backs.
Alan Hutton is not the answer.
Wow, you're going to get a lot of hate.
No, I'm not going to have. He had a great season. I enjoyed your apology, but he's not the long term answer. And I kind of dodged the question a little bit because I'd like to see a centre back come through the academy. We've talked here on this podcast before about having somebody like Alex Bruce or a centre-back that's willing to kind of sit on the bench. I'd quite like to see a centre-back that emerges, sits on the bench for a little bit, but then kind of comes through and becomes a real leader of this team.
Well, I've had second thoughts about Alex Bruce. It doesn't look like it's happening anyway. So obviously we've got Chester and Baker. So then really the fourth choice, we're going to sign a third choice to challenge Baker, I imagine, because Elphick will go. Mm-hmm. Fourth choice, I forgot about him because he went out on loan last season. We got Kieran Turner, who played a few Premier League games towards the end of that season and didn't look too bad. If you think that Richards was our fourth choice centre-half last year, he started 1 game. Mm-hmm. So really, your fourth choice isn't going to get that much football. So Kieran Turner could probably do a job as the fourth choice centre-back, and then I'd be looking for a centre-back to really challenge Baker.
Yeah.
Manchester, to be fair.
Yeah.
Challenge them both. We've been in with that Norwegian guy, Foreign, quite a lot.
Right.
Don't know too much about him though, but one of the, I think Norvillain on Twitter was saying he's not very good. So hopefully we'll stay away from him.
He hasn't made my transfer news.
No.
That's a little
Who
tease.
was the guy who asked about Curtis Davies?
That's the next question I was going to go on
one.
to. I don't know who it was, but would you take Curtis Davies for 500 grand? He's just joined Derby from Hull. I would say no. I would say that he's no better than we already have, and as I just mentioned, I'd rather see somebody young come through. That's exciting and a prospect rather than another kind of veteran who doesn't offer us as much as what we've already got.
Well, I think 500,000. He's gone to Derby now. I think 500,000 is a good price. That's a good signing for Derby, in my opinion, because he's done well at this level.
Ben Redding
in the past, yeah. Well done.
Sorry,
but his best years are behind him. Really, Birmingham Mail were quite lively about the fact that we didn't go in for him and that we should have done. But he's played for Villa before.
I read that,
and he left under a bit of a cloud. He's played with Chester before, which is obviously a benefit because he'll know his game. They had a good partnership in the Championship. I'm a bit surprised Bruce hasn't maybe gone for him for cheap. For a third choice centre half, he'd probably do a decent job. But I'd like to see us look more to the future. And they do say in the main, never go back. And when you've left under a cloud, he'll do all right for Derby though. To be fair. And he'll probably get more football there than he would have got at Villa, so that's probably a better move for him. That's
another reason why I wouldn't want him, because like I say, I don't think he would get into the starting, or certainly not comfortably. He wouldn't just walk in and be the first choice, and we don't need him to sit on the bench. I think we've got others who.
Well, we have at the moment. It depends what happens with Elphick. Really.
Yeah. Well, let's see.
If I was a Hull fan, I'd be annoyed.
Would you?
Yeah. Because apparently he's got a release clause of 500,000 because they've been relegated. Hull are in this league.
Yeah, that's true.
They're going to need him.
Yeah.
They're going to be in a position where they've got no players again because they've got a lot of loan players in under Marco Silva. There'll be players that don't want to play for Hull now they're in the Championship, and now Marco Silva's gone. Davis is a leader. He's been there a long time. I'd be annoyed if I was a Hull fan. That's a silly clause.
What? Are they short of money? Because I'd imagine he was on pretty big wages, but I don't know.
Because they
couldn't buy anyone, could they, in the summer?
No, but then they did in January spend a little bit of money and got a few tactical loans in. They've just got a terrible owner, haven't they?
Yeah.
And that's where we're quite lucky now that we're not We've obviously used to being in that position the last few years, but we've now got an owner who's not like that, so that's good. But they're in a mess. I think they'll struggle this year, regardless of what they're doing in the transfer market. You can't have all this stuff going on in the background and expect to have a good season. It just doesn't happen. That filters down. That
question was from Benny Red, so thank you for that. I've got another one for you.
Yeah.
Hornzo at NYS Meds. Not sure.
I don't think we should linger on it.
Not sure about that. Which player on loan would you want back in the squad next season? Shall I go?
Yeah, I think I know what I'm going to say, but you go.
I would really like to see Ross McCormack back as a full version of what Ross McCormack can be. I think if he can be the player that Villa signed, then there are some real selection dilemmas up front.
He'll stay. He will stay.
Yeah, but whether he is the man that we want him to be, that's the story.
We've got to get something out of him. It comes down to man management. We have to get something out of McCormack because we've spent £12 million on him. And we're not going to get that back. We're not going to get anywhere near that back.
Yeah.
And now he's 30 years old, 31 years old. That looks like overspending, but Matt was saying it yesterday because one of his predictions was McCormack was going to be Villa's top scorer. In the 3 seasons previous, no one had scored more goals in the Championship in 3 seasons combined. So sometimes it is just that Villa seem to be the problem. I'm convinced of this. It can't always be the player. It can't always be the manager. At some point, we've got to think there's a wider problem here. And I do think there's a lot going on behind the scenes to rectify that kind of thing, to be fair. But McCormack's proven at this level. I think he let himself down last season. His fitness, he didn't look fit to me.
Yeah,
well, I don't know whether he had personal demons, but he didn't look fit.
I read that there were a few personal things as well. So I think a good off-season for McCormack is really important. And
I'm willing to give him a fresh start.
We could see the benefit. Is that who you would have gone for, or would you have gone for someone else?
I was thinking more along the lines of the people that went out last summer, so your Veritus, your Hills, people like that.
That's probably fair.
Sanchez, although Sanchez is gone now.
Yeah.
I'd like to say I like Carlos Hill. I think he's a decent player. I think he'd be useful at this level to unlock stubborn defences. I'd probably go with him over the others, and apparently we can't agree a price with the Spanish side that want him at the moment. So at this rate, he's going to be coming back, and I'd rather, if you're paying someone their wages every week, there's no point in putting them in a bomb squad. Utilise them because you may need them at some point.
Luke O'Dell, footy mad Luke, who you're familiar with.
I think everyone's probably familiar with Ginger Luke.
Do you reckon the expectation is higher for Villa next season to get promoted than it was last season?
Yes, because they have to get promoted.
Definitely.
Financially, we have to, but we're going to be in a bit of trouble if we don't get promoted because we've spent an awful lot of money over the last 12 months.
Yeah.
Yeah? Or you were just doing
well,
that?
you just got a bit low. I just wanted to bring you up, but subtly.
I'll sit back up again.
I tried to do it as subtly as possible. Look how low you've got.
I thought you meant like my seating position. Oh, my voice has gone low.
You just slumped a little. It's that headache, I think, getting to you.
Yeah, it's caused me a bit of issues, to be fair.
Well, let's wrap it up a little bit. Yeah, I didn't think Villa were going to be made of much last season, and I think I was proved right in the majority there. But this year, I do feel more confident. I feel like we can put a little run together. And like you say, the financial side of things, we really do need to get promoted. That's really important.
Got to answer Alex James's question because I forgot it last week. Nice to get. This is an unrelated Villa question, unrelated to Villa, so at this point people may well turn off. But
don't turn off.
Alex James wanted to know questions for the podcast. Favourite TV show? Go with that one first. He's asked 2 questions. Favourite TV show?
Spooks.
Spooks.
Have you ever watched it?
I've caught bits of it.
Oh, it's brilliant.
Spooks. I think you could say it's your favourite TV show.
Spooks is unbelievable.
Do you have a movie as well?
A favourite movie? I really like
it was a movie as well, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah, the movie wasn't
Not
that good.
No good, no. Okay.
Had Jon Snow in it.
Jon Snow, friend of the show. It's a bit hard to limit favourite TV show, but the best ever TV show is comfortably Breaking Bad. It's comfortable. You're not tell me you've not seen Breaking Bad.
Never seen it.
An absolute disgrace, Tom Julian.
Never seen it. Get on. Tell us your favourite TV show and which one's better, Spooks or Breaking Bad. You can have your opinion. I think I'm going to get more love than you.
I really think you're wrong.
All right, next.
He said pineapple on pizza, yay or nay? No.
Why? I don't understand this. I don't even know why what's a talking point. Pineapple's tasty.
I don't like pineapple. So that's why I don't want it on my pizza, because I don't like it.
Editor Dan Rolinson doesn't like it either.
I don't know Rolinson.
I just don't really understand. If you don't like it, fine, but I think it's delicious. So
Right, there you go, Alex. He's giving me a bit of jip, actually. So he said something about me forgetting, so I've remembered this week.
yeah, well done. We also had a question about top favourite 11s, favourite Villa 11s. You and Matt did a video on this, didn't you?
A year ago.
Quite a while ago.
We probably had about 12 subscribers.
Yeah, so go back
So
and
probably never got to see it. No, don't go back and see it.
go back and see it because they're always fun to look at.
The video quality,
early
the
ones.
audio quality is nowhere near what it is now on our videos.
I look forward to if we're still doing a podcast in a year's time, going back and listening to this one.
I'll reel mine off quickly because people may have watched it
go on.
before. So, Mark Bosnich in goal. Just want to point out first, I'm playing a 4-4-2 narrow diamond
Okay.
as my tactical plan.
Yep.
So, Bosnich in goal. He's not necessarily a right back, but Melberg played some football at right back, so to get him in, I've got him at right back. It's close between Larson and Southgate. I've got Larson and Paul McGrath at centre half. Alan Wright left back. Petrov in front of the back four. Ian Taylor right-sided central midfielder. Gareth Barry left-sided central midfielder, and then Paul Merson playing off Benteke and York. That is a team.
That's quite a nice team.
That is a team.
Yeah, I had a little look at mine today as well. I've gone a few similarities in there. I've gone for a kind of wing backs.
In Vogue, you picked the in Vogue system.
Yeah, it could be turned into a 4-4-2 if you wanted to change it up a little bit. Bosnich in goal.
Yeah.
McGrath, Southgate and Oliver Melberg as our centre-backs with Milner and Staunton, our two wing-backs.
I think Staunton would struggle at wing-back.
Yeah, he would.
I've got the legs. Although he did play there sometimes, so...
We could maybe make a tactical substitution, kind of 60 minutes. Let's see how we're doing. Petrov, Barry and Merson in the midfield, and then York and Dublin, two big men up front.
Is York that big?
Yeah.
No, he's not. I bet he's not over 6 foot.
Why do you always call me out on things?
He's not a big man. They are Dublin's a big man. Benteke is a big man. Marlon Harewood's a big man.
Do you want to name more big men?
I'm going to get Marlon Harewood in every show. Every show if I can. He's not going to say on Wikipedia how tall he is he?
5'9".
5'9". There we go. Thank you very much. Thomas Julian killing themselves with the...
I had Benteke on the bench, Juan Pablo Angel, Hugo Ekiog, Ian Taylor, and Shay Given was my goalkeeper.
Shay Given? He didn't do anything for Villa. He's a good goalkeeper.
Shay Given's a quality goalkeeper. We're talking about best Villa 11s.
Well,
he's one of the best goalkeepers that's played in my lifetime. For Villa.
I'm going to contradict. I'm going to come at you here again.
Of course.
If you're going by that logic, then Peter Schmeichel should be a goalkeeper.
I forgot about Peter Schmeichel. Yeah, great.
And Ian Taylor on the bench is an
my rating is
disgrace.
just falling apart.
Ian Taylor on the bench is a disgrace.
Hey, he'd be sponsoring the kit.
No, he'd be in 95% of Villa fans' 11s.
He's on my bench.
It's not good enough. Ian Taylor should be in your team.
I like that three midfield.
I mean, I love Stan Petrov, but Ian Taylor would be in there over Stan Petrov.
Do you think?
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Alienating yourself like you do every week.
Again, if you want to give us your Villa 11, we've asked a lot of you this week, so feel free to.
We're gonna have to stop in a minute because no one's going to listen. The
Ignore
podcast's
it.
gone on forever.
We're about 42 minutes,
Okay.
which we were last week.
Okay.
So
sorry, I misread that.
yeah. Are we done?
I think so. Yeah.
I've got some news. I've got some transfer news.
Come with the quick news.
Yeah, go
again,
on.
we haven't answered every question, so the stuff that we've missed, we'll try and get in next week.
Yeah. Angel, the free transfer, 30-year-old from Real Zaragoza. Yes or no?
Don't know anything about him, so it's going to have to be a no at the
He
moment.
scored 21 goals
He's
for
30.
He scored 21 goals for Real
striker?
Zaragoza. Yeah,
Don't
need
need a
him.
striker.
Yeah, good. Serie A departures. Carlos Sanchez already gone. Fiorentina 2.5 mil.
Happened a while ago, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Just bringing everyone up to date.
Yeah. Pretty much. It's the off season, isn't it? Jordan Amavi, Sampdoria.
He's surplus apparently. Amava.
9 million.
It's about what we paid for him.
That's pretty good. I'd be quite happy to take 9 million.
He'll go, and in the transfer video that's upcoming, I've recommended a replacement, a younger, cheaper. I don't think he's younger actually. A cheaper replacement from the Premier League, who I think would be a good asset. I'm not going to say who it is because that spoiled the video.
Absolutely.
Have a guess in the comments if you want.
Nice little tease. And finally, Ashley Young links with Villa.
No chance.
No? Would you want him?
Well, yeah, he's a good player, so I'd take him because he's a good player. And I think we maybe need a winger still, but I'd have him. He'd do a Premier League move. Even he just ended up going back to Watford, if anything.
Yeah,
back to his old club.
Stoke and Newcastle are favourites. Villa third at 10-1.
He won't drop down to the Championship at this stage of his career, I wouldn't have thought. He's still a good player.
31 as well. Still got.
Whenever he's played for Man U, to be fair, and he's spent a lot of time playing fullback.
Yeah.
For Man U, he's always done half decent.
Yeah.
For me, I don't like his diving. It's one thing I don't like about him.
Yeah.
But I'd take him back, but he won't come. No way.
Good.
Unless his old mate Gabby can do some serious persuading.
Yeah.
He isn't going to come. We wouldn't best pay his wages.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Done.
I'm done.
Right. Hopefully you've all enjoyed this podcast. Apologies if you have not. So we'll be back next week. I think we'll be filming on Tuesday next week because we had to delay it for a day. Remember, please, if you could give us a rating on iTunes in particular, that would be absolutely fantastic because that would really help the podcast get recognised. Thanks to everyone who's listened and watched and commented in the last few weeks and given us a like on YouTube. Do give us a like on YouTube if you are watching via YouTube. That wrap?
Yeah, I think so.
See you later.
Cheers.
Thank you.
If you enjoyed that video, why not watch another one? Click the video choices on screen now to go and watch them in full. And don't forget to subscribe. Click on our logo there on the left and press subscribe. Easy.